Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm 𝑾𝒉𝒂𝒕, and you are in my tiny office corner of the world. I just need to click on this fabulous little thing right there. I have now officially welcomed you. I'm very excited about a couple of things, and I'm quite often excited about a couple of things, but this is very special. And I was so excited when I thought of it. I thought, I can't talk to them till tomorrow. So with any luck, fingers and toes crossed, not only are my regular wonderful fabulosos on Facebook and YouTube um, involved today, but I also reached out to our group, to We Are the Unforgettables group. And I'm hoping that some of you saw the link so that you can be watching me today, and we will know by the numbers. We will know by the fact that you can actually comment, and I see your comments almost as soon as you type them, and I'm able to answer you. So I'm looking forward to seeing new faces popping up beside my screen. So this is what I do for the people who haven't been in the loop. Almost 3 years ago now. Good morning, Daniel. See, Daniel knows what's going on. Daniel Kenny's in Montreal. I'm in Ottawa, and the rest of you are where the rest of you are, and you need to pop in and tell me. So about 3 years ago, I had this amazing idea. And the idea was for people who were overwhelmed by anything, really. We sometimes, when we get overwhelmed, we forget how good we are at coping. We really do. We start thinking we can't do it. We've never been able to do it, and might as well just stay under the bed, right? And I realized that for many people, this ability to see how good we are. Good morning, Eddie. This ability to see how quick we are to see a situation, look at the challenge, mirror the strength that is needed, and lean in and deal with it, cope, win, ride like the wind. We're not aware if we haven't practiced it, if we haven't realized that this is a thing we can do and we need. And because I'm a military brat, I pretty much did it every day. So practice makes something. And so the topic today that I want to talk about is, do you ever ask, what if? Do you? Do you ask what if? And the reason I want to talk about that is that what if is an interesting bellwether. What it tells you is that the minute you think it, and it's not a decision to ask it. It pops into our heads all by itself. We're looking at something, everything is normal. We're looking at it, and all of a sudden, something goes, you know. And now we can't unknow that. We can't unknow possibility. We can't unfeel curiosity. We can't connect to the kind of there's a great French word for it, and the word is frisson. There's it's little electrical energies all kind of tingling up and down. That's what if. That's, that's looking at something, doing something, looking at something, and suddenly the thing you're looking at triggers what if. And now in that moment, we are channeling our Viking ancestors. We are saying, yeah, the horizon, sure, but on the other side. And when that, well, good morning, Chris. Good morning. Hi. So the what if that happened to me quite a few years ago triggered this project that I've called Pivotry in Motion. A pivot is a physical turn, sudden. Pivotry is this what if in our head. The sudden recognition that something different is possible. And when that happens, it's a reset, it's a refocus of the way we've been adding 2 + 2. All of a sudden, the numbers are different. All of a sudden, the possibilities are huge. Coffee, grits, bacon. These aren't reasons to wake up, they're possibilities. Yeah, so the good possibility is you live next to an IHOP or a Denny's, right? Or Holiday Inn. So what we have here is an opportunity to communicate as opposed to a failure. And the communication is between the front of us and the inside back of us, the thinking part and the feeling part. And when the two connect, there's this kind of click. And that's when we feel, we hear, we sense, we touch. What if? And I thought about it yesterday because I was talking to Dewey, as I so often do, and we were discussing possibilities. We were discussing the enormous chance we're taking and the incredible outcomes that are waving to us from the distance. And it's very exciting for all those reasons. And then on top of that, so on top of cake, we have icing, cherry, sprinkle, and candle. Dewey and I started talking on the 10th of October, literally minutes ago in the overall scheme of things. And when we were having that first conversation, we were doing a video call, and I suddenly realized all the possibilities at the exact same time he did, because I could see the click in his eyes and he saw mine. And the two of us just kind of sat there grinning. And I said, well, your boat or mine? And he said, I think it's an armada. And from that point, we started talking about what are the possibilities here. And how we were talking began with 𝑾𝒉𝒂𝒕. And then it segued into the power and the purpose and the passion that nostalgia has for us, what it gives us, what it empowers within us. And since he's spent decades involved in nostalgia entertainment, so have I. The difference is that he's an observer, he's a moderator, he's a collector, he's a participant, and me accidentally sideways. I've become nostalgia entertainment. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Care Bears. And so we're looking at nostalgia from two separate points of view, and they meet in the middle. And what we realized was that we have Waffle House there. I'm neglected in the Waffle House department. We live in a state of now what? When everything has hit the fan. And, we thought the phone was going to go bing, and it didn't. And we checked and the phone is working. And we called and they hadn't reached out. And we've been standing there waiting on one foot, holding our breath until, we start to take the color of flamingos because of holding our breath. And we realize that something is missing. Those now what moments are deadly. It means that everything we planned is missing something. And what is the now what strategy going to be? And as I looked 3 years ago at the scenario, the fallout, the ripple effect of the pandemic and the sudden shifts in everything, I saw something else that was incredibly important. And it's so funny. I subscribe to Seth Godin. He sends a free email every day. Seth Godin is a really groundbreaking, one of the first true internet communications, finger on the pulse of where we're going. Great guy, very clever. And his email yesterday, it was a bonus email yesterday, and he was talking about expectations. He was talking about mistaken beliefs in things. And one of them was fame. One of them was that talent will get you where you want to go. And no, it won't unless you have a couple of other things. And he was talking about that. And he said, the proof that talent is not enough, the proof that timing is not enough, the proof that tenacity is not enough is this. When you look at the list of rejections on that old show Star Search, way back in the day, talk about nostalgia, you know who was not selected on Star Search? You know who was ignored and said, have a nice day, keep trying though? You know who was rejected? Alanis Morissette. Not only brilliant, talented Canadian icon singer, but my TV daughter. Alanis Morissette was told, Come back when you got something special. You know who else was rejected? Britney Spears. Yeah, after she was already Britney Spears because of all the Mickey Mouse Club stuff. When you go and look at the Star Search rejects every year, start back in the 70s, start back in the 60s, go through the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, all of our nostalgia decades. Look at the people that the judges, the so-called arbiters of talent and fame and possibility, look who they said, no, I don't think so. You know who else was rejected? Not in show business, but in a very iconic way. The authors of To Kill a Mockingbird, the authors of Gone with the Wind, the authors of Anne of Green Gables. Yeah, iconic. And that's just the beginning. And so what that tells you, it's not a pep talk. You just keep trying. It's not that at all. It's that it takes something else. It takes something special that really doesn't have a name. And I covered it deeply. I covered it in the book that I published in 2017 called Fame. I interviewed a ton of my former kids. I interviewed a ton of other celebrities. And I said, what is the definition? What is fame? And so I think the book had about 25 people in it. And you know, I interviewed all those people. No two of them had the same definition. All of them had hit it, had reached it, had owned it for the 15 minutes that fame lasts, metaphorically. Every single one knew what it was, tasted it, lived it, earned it. And the definitions were completely different. So when I finished doing all those interviews and I was writing the opening, I began by saying, fame is a multi-trillion-dollar industry and nobody knows how it works. Not the talent, not the investors, not the suits, nobody. Everyone guesses, and sometimes they guess right, and most times they guess wrong. So what is it that makes it happen? What is it that you possess? Possibility, passion, tenacity, drive, gotta have, gotta be, already am. If you're chasing it, you're doing it wrong. If you can't stop thinking about it, it's in you. It's in you. Now, sometimes, and this is a thing I really, really want to emphasize right now these days, because Dewey and I and Chris and Gary and Dave and Amy, we are all nudging this beautiful, beautiful ship toward a safe port, this unforgettables concept, this pivot tree in motion concept. We're never really sure what it's going to look like when we arrive. If we fixate on it's got to be exactly this and the cushion has to be at that angle under the window, we will always be disappointed. What we must do for ourselves and the people who love us, who are with us as long as they possibly can, is that we believe in the outcome. We believe in being there. We believe in generating, creating, harnessing, driving, celebrating the magic. And then we have to let go our iron grip on the controls and give the universe, give the fame gods, give the give the gods in Valhalla the opportunity to put their twist on it. Because 1,000 times out of 1,000, our vision of what it could be is infinitely smaller than it becomes. And does it change? Does it stay? Oh, it's always changing. It's like a wave. You know, you stand on the beach, people say it was going so well and now it's quiet. Yeah, and that would be the ebb and flow. Stand on a beach and you watch the waves. You watch them come, right? Boo, they hit, and then they leave. Where are you going? What happened? Was it something I said? No, they hit the beach. They've gone back to reboost, to reset, to rethink, to adjust, to rebuild their momentum and come again. And that's what they do. It's an ebb and a flow. Fame is that. Nobody stays exactly the same. Everybody grows or diminishes. It's all about the purpose we have. When you look at anybody who has succeeded at something extraordinary, nobody noticed in the first little while because it wasn't extraordinary then. It was just a thing. Oh, that's John. He's always up to something. I had a helpful friend not too long ago say, my goodness, you work so hard. When are you going to retire? Retire? What are you kidding? From what? I'm busy. It's not that I'm working it, I'm living it. And it's magic. So the conversation on this beautiful, beautiful, brisk, cold shoes day, given the shoe collection, see the shoe collection, given the shoe collection, I refer to Tuesdays as shoes days for the newcomers, and I refer to Thursday, by the way, as Thor's Day because I have this. Mom has Viking ancestors. Who knew? And so on those 2 days of the week, I channel the things that make me smile. And now what I'm doing with 𝒃𝒕 and definitely with Dewey and the team and Unforgettables is showing you where the smile button lives so that you can smile on demand when you're in the mood, when you're down a quart. So the key to all this is choosing to look up. You know, you see those old pictures of grist mills and you see a donkey and he's got his nose against the grinding stone and he's pushing and the grinding stone is grinding. The donkey doesn't look up. Well, he can't because his nose is against the grindstone. Looking up, all he's seeing is the grindstone. So he's just doing it. You see assembly line workers, they're just doing it. They're doing it. You see all the people who are caught in a rut. You get up, you do the same thing every morning. You go to the same place, you do the same stuff. At the end of the day, you get together with the same people, you do the same thing, you go home. And when you get into bed, you hit the repeat button because you're going to do it again tomorrow. I'm going to sell you something. I'm not going to sell you a thing. I'm going to tell you something really important. The beautiful, fabulous, magical thing that happens when we are doing by rote, repetitious physical actions that require no conscious thought, no innovative adjustments. We are basically on autopilot, is that it frees up the creative brain. And we are left free to think and dream and imagine. When I was doing live theater, I would get in the car and I would make a plan to go and see somebody who lived quite a distance away. And the drive to and from, when I was doing the driving, is I was running the lines in my head. Excuse me. Usually when I sneeze, it's because an idea is percolating and it's got nowhere to go, so it explodes. I don't really have any other kind of allergies. I'm not allergic to, what am I? I'm the bellwether for an idea coming. The what if I did this back in September was one of the best things I could have done for my heart and soul. Eddie, yes, it was. And I'm so glad to have been part of that. The 3 best things in Pensacola, the Navy, Aerial Museum, Pensacon, and like 15 Waffle Houses. Well, I'm glad the Navy and Pensacon were before the Waffle Houses. Gesundheit, thank you. So this is the opportunity, guys. Dewey and I were talking about it last night. We have been posting. We only launched our Facebook group on the 15th of November. We only launched our website a week or 2 before that. Everything began around the beginning of November after our incredible first kind of accidental, probably not so much, call on the 10th of October in the middle of Hurricane Milton. when we realized that we were both facing the same way. We had the same background, we have the same humor, we have the same purpose, we have the same passion, we have the same direction in mind. And I said, well, if that's the case, why don't we do this together? Since that beginning stuff, we are seeing a lot of traffic. We are seeing a lot of people curious about what we're up to. Because, I haven't had a sip of my coffee. Give me one quick second. Dewey and I wanted to reach out to people who have hit walls of such a significant nature that we really felt challenged in social situations. I had mine repeatedly as a military kid. It's unnerving. I was blonde as a little girl. It's unnerving when you're 16 and blonde and you don't know where your house is. People assume the worst. They don't assume. You find yourself talking like this. I don't know where my house is. Hi. IQ in the low single digits. When really what it is it's a new place. It's a new day. It's a new life. It's a new opportunity. It's a new direction. And I still don't know where my house is. And I realized, Dewey and I realized that the two of us have that as well. We share that as well. And he was the one who said to me, when you see and talk to people who have traumatic stress, how they cope is by finding something that grounds them. And I said, absolutely. The entire PTSD service dog program is a big passion for me. And he said, and in a crazy way, not as purposeful and not as growth oriented, but in a very similar way, nostalgia grounds people as well. We go back, we revert to a moment when everything was great, everything was simple, everything was easy, and we identify with whatever was happening at that time. And so when we look back today, it's nostalgia. And I said, this is our first call. And I said, over the years, I've had a lot of fans of You Can't Do That on television, and the Care Bears tell me that. And so when they see me, they see my name, they see something I'm doing, mom or an event, and they say to themselves, oh my gosh. And suddenly they're 12. If it's Care Bears, suddenly they're 6. If it's Teddy Ruxpin, suddenly they're 5, 4. And everything bad is less visible because they have those very solid memories to ground them, to give them power. Nostalgia is infectious. Yes. Whistling a vintage TV show theme at work, and a customer thanked me for reminding him of his moments and his memories. And this is Eddie talking. And thank you, Daniel. And what we have, and by the way, pausing for a second, you see what's going on for the new people. If you're in the Unforgettables group, or you're just new joining us because you're a friend of somebody who's a friend of somebody, this is what happens. I'm not losing my mind and rambling off on the side. I'm responding live to the comments that my friends are making. They're typing and I'm talking. So it's a weird kind of interaction, but it's real and it works. And it's Chris is saying, it finds, this is nostalgia. It finds a touchstone within ourselves that feels true and safe. Bingo, Chris. Absolutely. And we go there. Dewey was saying, he goes to the flea markets when he's found amazing treasures that he just doesn't have any room for. When he's searching and digging and on the road looking. And he finds these magnificent things. He goes to the flea markets and he says, it's because I can only keep so much stuff, and I have to give it a new home. The thing is that what he likes about flea markets is going and looking for new stuff to adopt. And I'm saying, is there do you know that how many you're allowed to, you have room for? And he said, no, I have to really talk firmly to myself. I can't bring home more stuff than I brought. That's the benchmark. And the reason it matters so much to him to have that and to go in the search for it, it's the hunt, right? Is the excitement when he finds something that triggers that frisson, that triggers that expression of, that touchstone moment. You know, everything is crazy, everything is busy, everything is swirling, and you can just put your hand on that cool touchstone. You can just feel that frisson, and everything else that was big is suddenly very small. When I did stand-up comedy briefly, um, I used to say that the object of my exercise was to find things that the rest of the world shakes their fists at and make it small, so that everybody shaking their fists says, yeah, yeah, get lost. I win, you lose. That was what I was doing. I was flipping this to this and giving people reasons to smile. Dewey does it for his reasons. He does it to anchor himself as, I got this. I got this. I'm not the guy on the outside. I'm the guy who's got this. And whatever it is that we do, it's comforting. And oh yes, I'm sorry, I didn't see the rest of it. What Chris was saying is that nostalgia is a touchstone within ourselves that feels true and safe and innocent. And you know, Chris, I think you've hit. It is our innocence that we crave. It is the moment before the moment that something shattered. We are looking for that moment before the moment. We are looking for the what if it's still there. What if it's just ahead? What if we all get in the boat and we row there together? What if is our true generator, our true nitrous pack that we put in and shift into let's get it gear. This is, I think, the thing we all share. So Dewey and I talked about it, and we said, what is the one word that defines all of that? One word that represents us and thee and thee and thee and them and those things and that moment. And the word that we both came up with almost at the same time was unforgettable. Irresistible is pretty good, but unforgettable has legs that go on for days. And so we decided that we would call our Facebook group the Unforgettables. We decided that we would call this passion, this movement, this attitude, the Unforgettables. We are, and it is. And so it shall be. It ties in so beautifully with Pivotry in Motion. Pivotry in Motion being the mental shift it requires in order to change gears on the fly without missing a beat. And we do it every day without knowing. So looping all the way back around on this rant, what I want you to take away, hopefully today, is that my goal as first a writer, secondly a comedian, third a coach, fourth a TV nostalgia personality with many voices, and for so many of you, some kind of semblance of mom in some shape or form. I have been able to bring all of that to bear and coach people through the tough times, through the chronic stress, through the creative stuck, through the why isn't this working? Help them get some perspective, help them smile, help them reset their boundaries, their goals, and begin again. So that is the full trajectory of my career up until now, all of those things that I've done from the very beginning. And now, in the aftermath of the pandemic and the complete life reset because of the loss of someone very special and a re-beginning, it is ironic and yet perfect that yesterday was my rebirth day. And this is not some holy hallelujah thing, although in a kind of a way it is. In my teens, I was in a very significant, serious car wreck in Europe. And there was no reason I survived. My girlfriend and I, there's no reason we made it. And so we decided that that the 2nd of December is our rebirth day. And every year since then is a bonus year. So on my rebirth day, I put a post out and I said, we all are on the brink of our rebirth day. It can be once a decade, once a lifetime, once a week, once a month, once a year, every day. Our rebirth day is our choice. We can stay with same old, or we can say, what if? It's all on us. If we don't have a map, that's okay. I'm your pilot. I know the way. I can guide your boat into a safe harbor. I can help you pick up the new tools. I've been doing it for years. Now it has a name. It's the unforgettable way it felt the first time you knew where you were going, the first time you reached it. And we can make it happen again. So that has been my plan for 3 years, nudging closer, nudging closer. What happened in the midst of it last year, I really hit a wall creatively because I really realized how much struggling was going on in the aftermath of the pandemic. So much was turned upside down. We lost so many things that we counted on, whether it was loved ones or places we lived or jobs we had or routines we followed. Everything was turned upside down. And for a lot of people who really, really need these kinds of conversations, for a lot of those people, all of us, me too, it's not always possible to afford it. It's not always possible to prioritize it. Do we need it? Yes. Do we have this spare money? No. And I've lived there. If you're in show business, you've lived there. You've said to yourself, this is going to work. I'm not going to invest my energy in, can I pay all the bills on the same day? I will pay all the bills on the same day. And now I'm focusing on this. But I know from conversations I've had that part of the struggle is the anxiety, is the tightness in the chest, that panicky feeling we get when we're not sure it's okay. And I want to be part of correcting that. Dewey and I want to be helping you nudge that out of the way. And when we first met and we talked, all of a sudden it hit us like a like a wrecking ball. And that was a subscription membership concept that would be unforgettable in so many ways. How inexpensive could it be? We broke it down and broke it down and broke it down. How can we make that work? We tell people it's the equivalent of a couple of special coffees a month. And it's even less if you can afford to front end load it and buy by the year, because then we know how much is taken care of, how many of our bills get paid. And the question then was, what do they get? If we can just belong to the group, if we can just watch Abby on her Tuesdays and Thursdays, if we can just hang out with Dewey when he goes live and talks about his chickens and his ducks and his and that rabbit. Why do we need to belong to something? And the thing is that Dewey and I are creating content. Right now, we've already started. We're creating content that will only be available to subscriber members. We're going to be doing live videos. We're going to be interviewing really interesting people. We're going to be having contests. Amy was saying, oh my God, we have to have contests. Amy, by the way, Amy Makepeace, she is the curator, the founder of 70s and 80s Memory Lane, 132,000 members who just crave that connection. And she invited us to be part of it. And she said, let me know how I can help. I love this idea. Because what is different with the Unforgettables? Of course, you can be part of our group, and we welcome you. We want more of you. Please join. We Are the Unforgettables is our Facebook group. We want you to be VIP members. We want you to be VIP subscribers. We want you booking your Zoom calls. We want you asking the questions of the celebrity. We want you sitting in our front row VIP seats. We want you activating your backstage access passes so you can come behind the scenes. We want you involved in the journey. We want your social anxiety to inspire us to look for the exact right person to interview. You know, Chris Wilkes, he lives very, very near Pensacola's massive Navy base, tons of training there. Dewey and Chris are planning to put something very special together for Pensacon in February. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I've got toes crossed, fingers crossed, maybe. But in any event, if I can't be there live, I can be there virtually. We can have me on a Zoom in screen. What we want all of you and all of the people you love who love you back, we want you to realize that there is a way to override what makes us feel less than. There is a path to more of. There is a way to look in the mirror and say, huh, not bad. Every day. There are some mornings when I look in the mirror and I think, dear God, how did that happen? What happened when I was asleep? However, that fades because here I am. So what I want to leave you with today, kids, and I've gone a little bit longer than I had hoped. I'm trying to cut myself back down to 30 minutes from my hour-long stints. What I want to leave you with is this. It's free to join We Are the Unforgettables. It's free to go and see our website. Our website is Unforgettables Rock You, and you is the letter U, unforgettablesrockyou.com. And Chris was saying, is that anything like Rock You Like a Hurricane? And I said, it is exactly like Rock You Like a Hurricane. This whole thing started in a hurricane. So check out our website. Check out our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group. Tell your friends. Tell us who you are. Tell us what you like, what your favorite things are. Are you a cosplayer? Are you a collector? Are you a gamer? Are you an organizer? Tell us what you do, because there is room for you in this boat. And if you know what, we got people building more boats. So there's plenty of room for everybody. So the question to ask, what if, is the most magical thing we can say to ourselves every single day. Give it a try. You're going to like it. I promise. So that's it for today. I will be back on Thursday. I might pop in tomorrow. I might have some news tomorrow. Not sure. I'm hoping. Hope with me that I have great news tomorrow. And in the meantime, be good to you. Take the time. Be good to you. You deserve it. And remember, above all, hug your loved ones. They don't have to be relatives. They just have to be people you love who love you back. Hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. And last, before I go, this would not be possible without you. You are everything. Never forget that. Okay? And I will catch you next time.